Alright, this is game 2 between GERUDO and RTK. And this is in the IMMORTALS 2v2 tournament. This is round 2 of game 2. I think I said that already. But GERUDO won. And this one is obviously from the point of view of GERUDO. As it says, your alliance. Anyway, pretty much it was a very fast, aggressive game, the first one. This one, I expect, might be a little different, but it's possible the same thing could happen. Both teams very aggressive, but GERUDO did come out on top with a very aggressive style, stand your ground type rush. It was very interesting, sustaining huge cavalry charges. It was pretty impressive. But alright, here this one goes. Hopefully, eventually. There we go. Alright, so, viewing from Harba, who is in the pink here, it looks like he has a very similar setup. 8 lone swords, a bunch of bow warrior monks protecting the Matchlock Ashigaru, protecting the Yari Ashigaru, and a Yari Ashigaru on each flank. We're going to look at Simon. I'm going to guess it's about the same exact army setup. The only difference might be a couple of Yari cav, but I don't see the cav here. They have not. He has not a warrior monk cav, so almost the exact same armies except for a cav deviation there. We're gonna go over on this side. We're gonna look at Abascantis, who is white here, and he has some matchlocks with some Yari Ashigaru and 8 lone swords and a lot of Yari cav and Great Guard. His general is off the horse right there, and there's some Yari Ashigaru in the back. And we're going to go back over here to Saladin. Saladin has pretty much the same thing as Abascantis has. A lot of mirror match type stuff here. We have Yari cav and Great Guard protecting some lone swords with more protection from Yari Ashigaru. And the main killers of these Matchlock Bow Warrior Monks, or excuse me, Matchlock Warrior Monks in the back here. So, we're seeing both these armies sort of form up and move to the right here, as we sort of have a mirror going on. We could draw a direct line through this map right here. And it looks like GERUDO is going to get this building here, the farmhouse, get that increased stamina and movement speed. Not the greatest of places or buildings, but it helps. They're going to be running across the map after someone. And stamina, not the greatest thing in the world, but better than nothing, especially if you're just going to give it away. Alright, so what we see here is forming up directly in the middle of the map. The RTK crew has better cavalry options, but I'm not too sure how they're going to utilize it this time. They tried to do a nice direct rush flank thing in the back of Harba last game, but this game it might be a little different, as that did not go so well, as they had a lot of protection with decent Yari Ashigaru and the guns facing them in the back. Alright, so we see a complete turning. We're almost in each other's bases now. Complete opposites. Unfortunately, no one's in any sort of range here to do any sort of damage. It's possible Abascantis will come up here and start the first volleys, but it looks like Simon is ready for him with these hidden matchlock units right here. So I would not be surprised if we saw some gunshots go off over here. It looks like the RTK crew is going to put their cavalry in the woods, hopefully come around, swoop around the back somehow, look for any sort of opening that they can. So we see Abascantis moving these unprotected matchlock units over here. Very dangerous, especially since a light cavalry could be over here waiting just to pop out and get them. But obviously that does not seem to be the case, as this is from the GERUDO's replay here. So here we go. We see a frontal assault with this massive cav here, and they're going to run into some Yari Ashigaru here. These Great Guard are just going to jump right behind those. These Yari Cav are going to run into these guns, which did a great job here, and they're going to run right through. So these guns are going to take a little bit of casualties here, maybe a lot. It's hard to tell with the pushing up here, and it looks like I clearly missed some guns over here going off, messing up these Lone Sword Ashigaru pretty hard. So are these arrows from these bow warrior monks crashing into the back of these Lone Sword Ashigaru here. So we see a lot of blinking going on over here. These matchlocks, Simon losing a lot of guys, Yari Shigaru, some matchlocks. So the matchlocks for Simon look pretty much done. It's possible that this could come back, but they are wavering pretty hard. But Simon's core still looks pretty strong, but the pull-throughs with these cavalry units that RTK was able to pull together was very strong. Now, if there's any weak side, I am going to assume it's going to be over here of Saladin, as you see Harba was pretty much ready for him, and he was able to do a decent amount of damage on the tail end over here. And we see Saladin's guns back here with the range upgrade on shooting away. Not the most accurate, and he's probably killing mostly his own men. Yep, you see a lot of guys in the back here falling down from those gunshots. So probably not the greatest of moves. He just lost another 10 guys. Not too smart. Alright, so we're going to see Saladin, though, hopefully redeem himself by crashing into the back of these bow warrior monks. And he nixed them, it looks. It looks like he wanted to go for that general there. Instead he went for those monks. So we see these Lone Swords of Harba doing okay. A couple of them wavering here as we see these Matchlock Warrior Monks just shooting away. As we look back over at the crazy action over here, the mob scene is still going on, still a lot of units here, but it doesn't look like Simon is holding on so well. You see some of those guys did fail here, and it looks like he's trying to do some flanking maneuver on the far end over here, hopefully behind Abascantis here. But you see for the most part, Abascantis guys really bunched up, so are the Saladins here. Harba is doing pretty well, I guess. It's almost like a 2v1 on this flank here, but it looks like Simon's also holding it together right here as this bunching, this grouped bunch here is really helping him out. And with Harba's guns in the back also helping out here. Harba's Matchlock Ashigaru also tearing it up on the side. So this is a very interesting match. I'm actually quite excited to be watching this. This is very intense. As you see, Abascantis also shooting right here. But on this side right here, Simon was able to sneak around these guns, and he's shooting at Abascantis' general right there. And you see Abascantis trying to do something, but he's probably going to form up, aim at those guns right there. But that rapid fire is really doing some work on that general, especially morale of this Matchlock Ashigaru unit here. So we see Harba completely overtaking on this side. It looks like Saladin's army just completely fell apart, and he shot a lot of his own guys in the back, which was pretty rough. These bow warrior monks are doing a great job of tearing people apart in the back, and you see Harba pushing through now. It's almost unlikely that this would have happened. It seemed like Harba and Simon were doomed, but it looks like they came back pretty hard. Simon was able to hold off those great big bunches of units there, and Harba was able to sneak around and just push through, and then eventually flank around and do some damage. Very impressive. GERUDO won that one. It is 2-0. They move on to the third